Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live, talking all about different metaphysical topics, such as the tarot, such as divination, runes, witchy stuff, all different types of topics. Hi, Chasco. Nice to see you. Gonna go ahead and give you a wave in here. Oop. There we go. And let me just check that everything is working for our Facebookers or YouTubers to make sure everything is working in copacetic before I do my real intro stuff. And then we can get started on this big topic workshop about women in the tarot, because it's so big that I don't think I can cover quite everything about women in the tarot. But what I can do is point out some women in the tarot that without which we would not have the tarot decks that we know, use, love, and also point out some women in the tarot, within the tarot deck, such as the Empress, the different queens of the court cards, the star card, the world. And also when I say women, I mean all women. If you believe that you are a woman in your heart, soul, and mind, then you are a woman. So I'm just going to get that out of the way first before I say anything else about women. Because it is Women's History Month. And so I figured we can finish off the month of March strong with an episode dealing specifically with women in the tarot, women of the tarot, shall we say. So let me make sure that everything is copacetic for YouTube, for Facebook. I believe both are, because I did get an alert just now. But I just want to make sure that everything is working. Okay, it says live now, and I see my face. I see the thumbnail. Okay, that one's looking good. We're looking good on YouTube, so I'm gonna take myself off of there so I don't have a weird echo effect, right? And let me see over on, hold on, let me make sure everything is working on Facebook as well. And then we can really get started, get cooking with gas, right? Come on, Facebook. You can do it. All right, looks like Facebook is taking a little moment or two to load. So I'm going to assume everything's okay. But wherever you're viewing from, whether you're viewing on Facebook or you're viewing on YouTube, go ahead and drop your name into the comments and where you're tuning in from. I love to hear it. And also on Instagram as well. Let me actually scooch over my phone a little bit, change the view in here so that I can actually see people's comments without getting interrupted, and hopefully I'm not too boobalicious over on YouTube. Let me know if anything untoward is showing, my friends. I would appreciate it. All right, so Katie says, hello. You are coming through Facebook loud and clear. Awesome. Yeah, it was just not loading for me. Give me a second here. Yeah, says we're good. Go ahead and pin that to the top of the page while I can. See if that works out. And let me close everything up now so that we are all good to go. And I see that Katie is here. So let me go ahead and do that. Like, yes, you're coming through loud and clear. Awesome. Dina is also here tuning in over YouTube. Thanks, Dina, for showing up. Thank you to everyone who shows up weekly. I really appreciate it. So let me actually do the introductions now that I know everything is working and looking great. And as you can see, if you're tuning in through Facebook or through YouTube, we do still have our little rainbow effect overlay from our last episode talking about Ostara going on, because I didn't have time to change it up. And I tried to, I wanted to create something new, like a background for the sidebars for for each of the different workshops that I do. So I don't have to like use widgets or have to display it every time. I can just put up an overlay and then you can see like from here would be information. And then you can see my face in here. But time ran out for today. Okay. So Facebook is looking a little slow. Okay. Then it's not just me. I'm glad to know that it's not just me that's experiencing that, but hopefully everything will work out and you're going to still get the information that you need. All right, so this week's episode, and to wrap up the month of March, we are going to be talking about women in the tarot. We're going to be talking about women in the tarot deck itself, such as like the Empress card, such as the pages of the different court cards, the queens of the court cards, the star, the world as well. See right there, Queen of Cups. I'm already seeing here, as well as talking about the wonderful women behind both the Thoth Tarot and the Ryder Waite Smith. And I do want to focus more on the artists of the big two tarot decks that we know, use, and love today, which would be Pamela Coleman Smith for the Ryder Waite Smith deck and Lady Frida Harris for the Thoth Tarot. But we will get into that in a second. Anyway, introductions are in order first. If you have never tuned into one of my weekly shows, let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Hilary. I am a professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, through the magic and the beauty and the power of the tarot, which is one of many divination tools that you can use in order to get in touch with your intuition. And before you argue with me, yes, my friend, you do have intuition. I strongly believe that everyone has intuition, and we just have to get out of our own way and relearn how to cultivate that knowledge that we pretty much had since we were children. And we tend to doubt or be skeptical as we grow up, and then we spend the rest of our lives trying to get back to that knowledge or intuitive knowing that we had as children. That's my opinion of intuition anyway. So each week, we cover a different metaphysical or divinatory topic, and we also talk about different topics as well by popular request or demand. For example, last week, I kind of quasi started up my Sabbath series, which is what I'm calling it. And we talked a little bit about the holiday of Ostara, which is a holiday that I celebrate. It's also the spring equinox. So we talked a little bit about that. And that will be a continuing series that I do through the rest of this year as a part of my priestess work, because I am in training to become a priestess of Bridget. So this is year 2. I'm entering into year 2 of that work. And one of the focuses of year 2 is giving information like that to the public or through different free classes. So if you want to contribute in any way, shape, or form when I do one of those Sabbath series episodes, you can definitely do so. Donate money through the PayPal link that I have in the description. And for those Sabbath series, I will be donating it to a worthy cause or charity related to my priestess work. So, any questions about Ostara or last week's episode before we dive into, first of all, the astrology of the weekend? Then we're going to talk about the topic, women in the tarot, and then we will finish off with the weekend forecast as usual. So that is the structure of our weekly shows. Just so you know, this is not a space for free readings. However, I give a lot of information, and if you are here for a free reading, you can stay tuned to the end for the weekend forecast, or stay tuned at the beginning for the astrology. So it's really up to you, whatever flavor of divination you would like, astrology or tarot or oracle reading. So it's up to you. All right. So, Katie, are you still seeing everything? Are we still good over in Facebook land? While I hydrate myself before diving into the astrology as it comes from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady, from her wonderful AstroBiz Digest. And by the way, guys, I have a stack of books here ready to go to reference from, and I actually just came across one of the more interesting points that Pamela Coleman Smith put into her tarot deck, stage cards. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because it has some history of Pamela Coleman Smith, but it also has a little like quirk of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot that you're not going to find in the Thoth. And I'm sure the Thoth also has some quirks that you're not going to find in the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I'm primarily a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of gal. So, all right. So Katie is saying, yes, all good. All right. Let us go into the AstroBiz Digest. And I've got to remember to take off my dimming software to make sure that I can actually see things correctly in the right color. Okay, here we go. All right, and for those of you tuning in through Facebook and YouTube, you should see a link to the AstroBiz Digest into the live chats in either place. So if what I say astrologically is interesting to you, I want you to know where that information is coming from, and I want to be able to direct you to subscribe to the AstroBiz Digest. If the astrology that you hear is something that you like and you want more of, I want to give the business to Teresa Reed, who that's her service. That's her subscription service. And I do see that we have a spammer in Facebook. Please know I am not affiliated with the person that's soliciting readings or requesting to give readings. So please go ahead and ignore that person or report that person. But I am not affiliated with that person, just to let you know. And I'll probably say it a couple of times during the episode, depending on how many people try and come spam or scam. So one of the fun parts of doing this kind of workshop every week is having to deal with unscrupulous people or robots coming in and trying to jack my swag. Super fun, guys, but please do not be fooled. If you would like a reading with me, you can certainly purchase one right through here, www.tarotbyhilary.com, and I would be happy to set up an appointment and work with you. I have a wonderful online scheduling system, so it really takes the guesswork out of scheduling something, and I love it. I use Acuity Scheduling for those of you who are wondering what I use for my tarot readings. And tarot readings are available through phone, Skype, or email readings. In fact, I have an email reading to do. I started it before this episode, and I'm going to continue to do it after this episode. So definitely contact me if you would like a reading. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because we've got other stuff to get through. We've got other stuff to do tonight. So let me pull up the AstroBiz Digest for this week, the week of March 22nd. And I'm going to start with the big astrological news, and then I will get into the nitty-gritty specifics for Friday, today, Saturday, and Sunday. So the big news this week is that there is a full moon in Libra on Saturday, the 20. I think that might be a typo there. I think it's the full moon in Libra. I'm not sure if it's happening Saturday or Sunday. It says Saturday the 28th, but tomorrow is the 27th. So I believe it's Sunday. So full moon in Libra 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll probably clarify that when we get to the specific scopes. Full moons represent closures, celebrations, and endings. In relationship-focused Libra, this day is ideal for cleaning up your network. It's time to go through your friends list and see who needs to go. And actually, let me match up. Let me match up my lower third to match with the AstroBiz Digest. And thank you, Katie. I so appreciate that. I always report them. I always report the scammers. Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't want to fixate on them. I just want to do my job. I want to live my life. I want to be able to have my fun with my friends and regular viewers in here. And it really takes the fun out of it when we have to deal with that kind of shit. So anyway, back to the astrology and the full moon in Libra. So it's time to go through your friends list and see who needs to go, spammers and scammers included, right? If you're involved in partnerships that no longer make sense, it's perfectly fine to begin closing those doors down too. Also, clean out your inbox, upgrade your VIP list, fire that high maintenance client, and update your customer care policies. If you have outstanding legal matters, take care of them now. Lastly, if you have any client work that is long overdue, get that done. And that's actually what I'm doing this evening. So I'm already feeling the effects of the full moon in Libra and trying to clean up and focusing on the relationships, right? It doesn't have to be romantic. It's any kind of relationship. Hi, Zuri. Nice to see you. Let me go ahead and wave to Zuri over on Instagram. And Zuri, I actually wanted to, so we're right in the middle of starting the astrology from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady, but I do want to give a big shout out to Zuri. Zuri is pretty freaking awesome. And I wanted to specifically focus a little bit on what I purchased from Zuri. Oh gosh, was it last Friday or the Friday before? I think it might have been the Friday before, but I could be wrong. Actually, no, it was last Friday. It was right after my Ostara workshop. Zuri has a wonderful, wonderful shop. She did a live, oh gosh, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a live overview of all of the products that she was selling, and so I bought a few things. So I'm here, I'm interrupting your regularly scheduled broadcast to shout out Zuri here. So give me a second. I wanted to make sure that she got props. So this is Zuri's card, yachtzuri.com. Zuri, I'm calling you out in a good way. And actually, let me go ahead and drop that into the chat here at Zuri.com. Make sure everyone has it. Yes, an Instagram live sale. Thank you. It's like I'm used to doing these kind of things. I give total props to everyone that does like live sales on Instagram or on Facebook. It's a lot of stuff, to be able to keep track of. But anyway, so I got sucked in a good way, and I bought my husband a birthday gift, a green aventurine palm stone, and it is gorgeous and such good energy. Oh, good. We have Zuri in here right now too. Good. Want to make sure we give props to Zuri. So it was a green aventurine palm stone that I got for him. And then, of course, if I was buying stuff for him, I got to buy stuff for myself. So I got this beautiful rose quartz pendulum. And if you know me, you know that I have a couple of pendulums. I have a labradorite pendulum. I have an amber pendulum. And I think I do have another rose quartz pendulum that's kind of like a star shape. But this... I got this from Zuri. So gotta shout out Zuri. And Jamie's joining us over on Instagram. Hi, Jamie. So that's the pendulum I got from Zuri. And it feels so good. And I do want to also let you know, Zuri, that as soon as my husband put that palm stone in his hand, he was just like, wow, this is hefty, but it feels so good in my hand. Like and I'm just like, well, that's what it's supposed to, like, that's what I got it for you. I was drawn to it for you. And it's so similar to some of the tumbled crystals that I've given him before that he usually carries around in his pockets for protection and strength. I think it's like moss agate I've given him before, probably some tumbled green aventurine, and some tiger's eye as well, or the stones that I'm drawn to for him. And he has his palm stone in his drawer. I'm not going to make him get up and get it, but maybe later in the broadcast. Hun, if you get a second, can you bring me your palm stone so I can show it on camera to everyone? Because Zuri's tuning in and I want people to be able to see it. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, when you get up. You don't have to do it now. All right, cool. So you guys will be able to see it in a little while. When he gets up, he'll come bring it over to me. And then some other stuff that I got for my spell work, and hopefully if I do some candle carving, I got this bag of peach moonstone chips and a bag of rainbow moonstone chips, 4 ounces. So it's not doing it justice. They're really, really gorgeous in person. So I don't know. It looks a little bit better on camera over on Instagram rather than over here. So anyway, had to shout out Zuri. And Zuri, I thank you for the extra little clear quartz that you put in the package. But everything came really quickly and it's beautifully packaged. Nothing was broken. Everything was gorgeous. So big shout out to Zuri. Purchase your crystals, candles, bath bombs, pretty much anything from her. I always want to shout out, people that I like, that I know, that I trust. Like I don't want to, if I give a referral, the weight of my respect and value and worth comes with that referral. I'm not going to send you to someone that I don't like or that I think is shady. Okay. All right. So yeah, and Zuri also does intuitive guidance as well. So sacred tools, energy healing, magical supplies. So there's candles, there's crystals, bath and body, oils, spray. So definitely check out Zuri. Yes, thank you. Oh, good. So Zuri says it's a tumbled clear quartz point from a gemstone. I handpicked it. I love how polished it is. Yes, and my husband and I both commented on that, like how smooth it was, because usually crystal points or clear crystal points definitely have a few rough or sharp edges. So it was surprising to me how tumbled and polished and smooth it was. It felt really nice. And it was very like most clear quartz crystal, like most of them that I feel like have a heft to them, that one is like very light energetically. Like it's just nice and light to it. And that it was just very unusual. So thank you for the little extra. I love it. So, okay. Thank you for dealing with the regularly scheduled or unregularly scheduled shout out to Zuri. Yeah, exactly. They are usually rough. So like get your shit from Zuri. And Zuri, feel free to drop in when you're having your next live Instagram sales thing. I'm happy to give you the shout out. So this is the difference. This is the difference between a spammer, a scammer, and someone that is, I am allowing permission to, for this person to show off their wares because I believe so strongly in their products. The other people that are scamming or like saying DM me for a reading, that I'm not affiliated with those people. So go ahead, let us know, Zuri, when the next one is. I'm sure a lot of people that view here would love to tune in and see the kind of stuff that you have for sale because it's good stuff, guys. Like you can feel the difference. There are a couple of people that I work with, and the people that I don't work with anymore, I don't work with anymore for good reason. Like Sage Wings is another place that I will purchase from. That's Rosie. And I know her personally because I've given her readings at the yearly Halloween party that I do. And I know her through family members. So she also does like live Facebook sales. And she usually does that like right after mine on Facebook or almost when I'm doing these. So Sage Wings is another place that I fully support as well. And it's not even an overlapping thing, guys. Like there is plenty of room for everyone here. Like the things that Zuri has, Sage Wings might not have, and vice versa. So it's just like, look through all of their inventory, support them, like I got this badass labradorite slab from Sage Wings that is on a pedestal, and it's in my front hallway, and it is just the most gorgeous piece that I felt drawn to during a live sale on Sage Wings, and it's just like that's my lab slab. Put it aside for me. That is for me. And when you feel drawn to those kind of objects, like that's usually a sign that you should be working with that type of crystal or that type of object. It is that feeling, it's that pull. Same kind of thing with divinatory tools like the tarot, like runes, like the Lenormand. So, okay. So we have an update from Zuri. Next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram, Yatsuri's Shop. So, there you go. And I'll try and promote it. Thanks for letting me share my next live sale on IG. Not a problem, Zuri. Happy to do it. I can't believe I haven't purchased from you before now. I feel kind of bad, but it's gorgeous. I love it. And I will definitely be getting more pieces from you. And I will probably be talking to you privately in case you happen to see a Bridget statue or figurine that I can put on my altar. I'm on the hunt for that too. So if you could be on the hunt for that, like I will definitely purchase through you. So, all right. Back to the astrology, the astro weather from Teresa Reed. Thank you for the unexpected but pleasant interruption, like talking about crystals. I gotta talk about those crystals, man. Okay, so full moon in Libra. We talked a little bit about the full moon in Libra. This may seem like a lot to do, but if you get a start on it before the full moon, you can put that day aside for celebrating all of the wins instead. So I'm just going to do a quick bullet by bullet point for the full moon in Libra again. I believe it is on Sunday. I'm going to verify that in a second. For those of you who are just tuning in, because I see Beth the Wicca has just joined us over on Instagram, as well as Lauren. So I want to make sure they're caught up with the astrology before we get into the women in the tarot portion of the episode. So full moons represent closures, celebrations, and endings. In relationship-focused Libra, cleaning up your network, go through your friends list and see who needs to go. Partnerships, looking at partnerships that no longer make sense. And that can be business partnerships as well as romantic partnerships. So don't think that it's just all about romance. It's not. We have many types of relationships that are in need of evaluation during the full moon in Libra. Clean out your inbox, upgrade your VIP list, fire a high maintenance client as much as you're able to, update customer care, client work, and all of this should be done before the full moon, I believe on Sunday, so that you can enjoy the full moon on that day of. But we are under that energetic influence of the full moon because it's usually 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after that you're really feeling the effects of a new moon and a full moon. All right. Let's see. Okay, so today, Friday, The day begins with the sun conjunct Venus at 2:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, an excellent aspect that sets the stage for inspiring PR campaigns, networking, creativity, self-expression, and pitching power players all day. Put one of these activities on your calendar. Your business and your own personal life will benefit. You also want to assess your to-do list early in the day, make a plan, and stay on it until every task is checked off. The moon trines Uranus at 2:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a hot slot for marketing and public relations. Pitch the media, host a podcast, or launch a new online program. It's all good. Shut down the office at 10:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon squares Mars. The critics and energy vamps are looking for a bite. Do not give them that pleasure. Power day for Virgo, weekday for Pisces today, Friday, the 26th of March. All right, are we good on Friday? Shall I move on to the weekend? All right, let's move on to the weekends. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday starts off with funky aspects that could derail your focus if you let it. Shut off every distraction and keep your boundaries high all morning. The moon is void starting at 7:48 p.m. Thank you, honey. You're not going to see him on camera, at least not tonight. I'll show you that palm stone I was talking about in a second. Moon is void starting at 7:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, best for shutting everything down and resting. Sunday finds the moon in Libra, which is excellent for strengthening relationships, networking, connecting with your team, or dealing with legal matters. A full moon arrives at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've already read you the information about that, so it is indeed Sunday, the full moon in Libra. Also, the aspects are ugly all afternoon on Sunday. So take the afternoon off and find something pleasant to do. Libra moons are superb for beauty treatments. Get a mani-pedi if you can and if you feel safe in doing so, or do one at home. A Libra-Saturn trine at 7:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time could be superb for negotiating a deal over drinks and appetizers. Again, be safe. Only do it to your comfort level, folks. Sounds like a plan. Saturday is a power day for Virgo and a weekday for Pisces. Sunday is a power day for Libra and a weekday for Aries. So yeah, if I'm, you all know if you've been tuning in for a while that I'm not only a sun sign Aries, but a triple Aries. So I am probably going to try and take Sunday off if at all possible and not do any readings or anything besides the card of the day because I trust the astrology and I'd like to work with the energy, not against the energy. So that is the astrology for the weekend from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. All right, while I have it, and let me go ahead and hide this. Let me go ahead and show this palm stone that I was talking about because my husband just dropped it off camera. I don't know if you guys were able to see him. I have a feeling you guys didn't see him. He's sneaky. He can be very, very sneaky when he wants to be. So Jamie, I'm sorry. I know that Jamie was commenting on Insta and I didn't get to say anything. So she said the stuff was pretty and you vacuumed the house today. So that's in keeping with that full moon in Libra energy that we're going to have on Sunday. And Jamie says, today has been my day off. So see, do what you can, what works with your schedule as well. And I'm going to try and take Sunday off. So here is the palm stone that I was talking about. Can you guys all see it? That I got from Zuri, that I purchased from her live Insta sale. Oh yeah. Ooh, this one is liking the camera. It's a little bit of a camera hog there. Here we go. So Zuri, just to let you know, Jamie says in Insta, if you're not on Insta anymore, I think you're over on Facebook now. Wow, that it's an amazing palm stone. Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully you can get a sense of the size. Like, I mean, I have small hands. My husband actually, his hands are fairly, I wouldn't say they're large. I think they're just regular, normal size. But he was very surprised. Like when I put it into his hand, he was just like, wow, that has heft to it. And then he just sat there holding it, and he was just like, wow, I like the energy coming off of this. And I'm just like, that's the reason why I got it for you. So that gives you a sense of how big this is. I mean, for my baby-sized hands, it's quite large, but for him, it like nestled right into his palm, and he liked the heft of it. So yeah, isn't that gorgeous, guys? So I see that, yeah, Katie says, wow, that's enormous. What a beauty. Uh-huh. And Lisa says, beautiful. So yeah, if you wanna go to Zuri's next live sale, it's gonna be on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Instagram, Yatzuri Shop. So check her out. But this is where I got them from, along with my peach and rainbow moonstone chips and my rose quartz pendulum. And also Zuri has a wonderful website as well. So you don't have to just purchase during the live sales. You can also go on her website and order at any time. That's the beauty of the internet, right? So, and it came in this beautiful baggie too. So actually I might just sit here and, I don't know. I don't want to get my energetic stank all over this, since it is for my husband, but I'm kind of jelly now. I wish I had gotten a palm stone for myself and a different stone. Cause I mean, this works. I do like green aventurine, but it's not necessarily like my stone. I would probably go for more of a carnelian, garnet would probably not be this large a stone, or a rose quartz or a clear quartz, or even I have a malachite worry stone that I have around here somewhere, which is definitely not as large as this, but I don't know. Have to keep my eye out, right? So yes, you're very welcome, sir. These are gorgeous pieces. So all right, I'm just gonna stop getting my stank all over my husband's palm stone. That sounds very dirty. No, you don't. Oh crap. Suri, no. This is obviously not what the broadcast is for, and it's also exactly what the broadcast is for. So all right. Well, I guess I'll have to tune in for your live sale on Tuesday, if not before. But you have a very good eye, both visually and energetically. So sure, if you want to keep me in mind for one of those carnelian palm stones, I definitely would not say no. Carnelian is actually a really great stone for confidence. And a quick aside, and I'm definitely going to do another episode on crystals again, probably in the next month. One of the, next week's episode is all going to be all about planning for the month ahead, for the month of April. So I do want to do another episode on crystals, because the last episode that we did on crystals, we had a lot of trolls, and I think that was towards the beginning of the pandemic, where it seemed like no one knew what to do with themselves, and so we had these armchair warriors dropping in and causing trouble, more so than we've seen with the spammers and the scammers. And I just didn't know what to do at that point, so I was just like, fine, whatever. And then we were having technical difficulties, so I'm not really happy with with that particular episode. So we might have to talk about crystals again, and possibly Zuri have a conjunction episode where you're going to be on camera with me, and that way we can help each other, because I definitely know the purpose of crystals, but you're selling the crystals, so it's just hey, if you want a carnelian, if you want a druzy or an amethyst or rose quartz or whatever, or tiger's eye, like, here you go. Go hit up Zuri and get your crystals from her. So we'll talk. Yes, yes. Jamie says, haha, all Hilary's money belongs to Zuri. Yes, currently. Yep, that's true. But oh, well, you're very welcome. That's a high compliment. You're very welcome. So so carnelian, really quickly, it's a really great power stone. I actually have I think it's a carnelian and garnet kind of mala bracelet that I got at the Omega Center, which I feel is really good. But carnelian is great for menstrual cramps too. Like, for some reason, I hold the carnelian in my hand and like I feel better. Or sometimes I'll put the carnelian crystal like right directly onto my womb if I'm experiencing cramping, and it just, that's what crystals are used for, folks. So Zuri says that would be so much fun. Here you go, honey. Take it away from me before I get my stank all over it, because that's yours. I thought you were gonna hold on to it when you're doing your playlisting. No?
Well, I gotta set up my game for number 2.
Okay. Well, don't put it away. I'd rather you use it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he loves it, Zuri. So.
My fidgety hands.
For your fidgety hands, did you say? Yeah, for his fidgety hands. But everyone was just like, whoa, that's a big palm stone. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, this is, my baby hands are not a good indication of how large or small it is. And that's all I'll say on the subject, because then we're getting into weird territory. Don't look at me like that. We've all got regular viewers here. It's okay. They know what they signed up for when they watch these episodes. So Lisa says, oh, hi, Unapologetically Witchy. Welcome to the broadcast. We haven't gotten into the topic yet. We're gonna in a second. We got distracted by crystals. So Lisa says, I have a carnelian that I love. It usually sits on my altar. Yeah, I have a couple of carnelians. One of which I got from Teresa Reed's Soulful Proprietor weekend retreats that has wisdom on it. So it's a carnelian and it has wisdom on it. So that is kind of a quasi palm stone for me, but I'm still interested in some of the palm stones that you have, Zuri. Okay. And I'll assume that Katie's comment is regarding my comments to my husband. And that's all I'll say about that. But like, yeah, I'm like crystalled out right now. So I'm wearing my mala that Jen Cintrone made for me. She is, I believe, Jericho Oracle reading, or Jericho Rose intuitive readings, I believe. But she made me this mala that is rainbow moonstone, ametrine, which is a cross between amethyst and citrine, another great stone, rainbow moonstone beads, and labradorite beads. So this is the mala that I'll work, but I will also wear when I'm doing readings. So sometimes you'll see me on the broadcast wearing this because I was either doing a reading before this or I'm about to do a reading after this. And again, we've got another spammer in the comments. Please, guys, report these people or ignore, but do not give them, do not DM them, do not pass go, do not click $200. Thanks. So Jamie said, palm rocks are great for fidgety hands and meetings. I use 2 when podcasting. Yeah, I know. I've seen you do it. And also now so Melissa, our co-host of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast, sent me a little care package. And this is, I'm pretty sure there's buckwheat in this, and lavender buds, dried lavender buds in this. but this is something that she has on her desk that she fidgets with when we're doing podcasting. Jamie uses the palm rocks, and now I'm doing this too since Melissa sent this to me. So I have it almost like a little like wrist buffer, or I'm just like I just fiddle with this, and then I have it under my nose for aromatherapy purposes. So yes. So Lisa's asking, sorry, I was late. Palm stones are what exactly? Hand stones, like palm. Sorry, my pronunciation is not good. Like the palm of your hands, hand stones. Yeah, something that you hold in your palm. And Zuri says, love Jen. Yeah, I love Jen too. And Jamie says it smells so good. Jamie got one too. Oh, and that's another thing. See? All right, before we really get into the topic for tonight, the newest episode of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast is up. We do it every second and fourth Friday. New episodes are released. This particular episode is just me and Jamie talking on the broadcast, so it's a little bit different. And it's basically, the topic is what to do when you're not feeling up to doing readings, when you're feeling under the weather, or you're having a health crisis, or you just don't have the capacity. And the short the short solution is don't. If you don't feel up to doing a reading, then don't do the reading, reschedule. Most people will understand. And the long version, you can listen to the episode. So and of course, the GoFundMe is still going on for Melissa and Joe, our wonderful co-host of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast, as she's dealing with some health issues. That is super, super helpful. If you can donate to that, it's appreciated. If you can share, it's appreciated. If you can do both, it's appreciated. If you can do one or the other, it's appreciated. Basically, whatever you can do is appreciated. So unapologetically Witchy says, thinking of Melissa, heart emoji. Thank you so much. And guys, she's feeling all that good energy, and she so appreciates all of the good wishes from everyone. And when she's ready to start taking on readings again, she will definitely let people know. Until then, we're picking up the slack for some of the people that she normally has as clients. She is delegating them out to people that she knows, likes, trusts. Again, that referral means a lot. When we talk amongst ourselves, all tarot readers talk amongst themselves and, try and have that coverage. If they're not able to read for someone, or they feel like somebody else is a better energetic fit or match, that's what we're going to do. We're always going to make sure that you have a great experience with the tarot, even if it's not us particularly that is reading for you. Because there's no competition, folks. There's only cooperation and love. There's plenty of work for everyone. So, on that note, and in that spirit, let us talk about tonight's episode, which is, hold on one second here. I didn't update the agenda. So this episode is all about women in the tarot. So I want to cover a little bit about female figures within the tarot, literally within a tarot deck, and also talk about Pamela Coleman Smith, who was the original artist for the Ryder Smith tarot. If you've ever seen pretty much any tarot deck in the market, a lot of them are Ryder Smith clones, or that's the terminology that we use, because whatever thematic stuff an artist will put over the tarot to make it their tarot deck, they're still using the basis of Pamela Coleman Smith's structure in order to still have it be a tarot deck. So we have to give props to Pamela Coleman Smith, who was the artist for the Ryder Smith deck. So pretty much a lot of the tarot decks on the market that you'll see owes a debt to either Pamela Coleman Smith or to Lady Frida Harris, who was the artist for the Thoth Tarot. So it's like the big two. I can't speak personally about the Marseille Tarot because I don't really have a lot of experience with Marseille. So if you happen to be a Marseille Tarot reader, please don't come at me. Or if you want to come at me, give that information into the comment section wherever you're viewing this right now. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram, I would love your opinions about the Marseille Tarot and its roots and whether or not there are prominent women that are at the origin of the Marseille Tarot, because there probably are. So this episode is more to direct you towards getting more information or further information or doing your own personal research towards these two women who are often overlooked, forgotten, not really talked about. I did say a little bit about this in I think last week's episode, possibly the episode that we did when we were scheduling all of the episodes for the month of March, in talking about Ryder Waite and how everyone refers to the tarot that comes from US Game Systems as a Ryder Waite deck. Now, I don't call it the Ryder Waite deck. I call it the Ryder Waite Smith. Why do I call it that? Why do I add Smith onto the end of it? It's because it comes from Pamela Coleman Smith. That's where the art comes from. She was the artist, and she did this under the direction of A.E. Waite. A.E. Waite was the conceptualizer, but so that was where the directive was coming from, but she's the one, Pamela Coleman Smith was the one that actually did the artwork. And then where Ryder comes in was, I believe that Ryder was the first publisher of that deck. So that's where Ryder, Waite, and Smith come from. And notice how Ryder Waite, two men, Smith, where's her name? So give me some chats in the comments section if that makes sense to you. Unfortunately, it makes sense to me. I'm not too happy about it, which is why I try and bring back in that Smith. So yes, I agree with you, Jamie. So Jamie's getting a jump on the Thoth deck. And actually, Jamie, if you have any thoughts or research about the Thoth or the Thoth deck, I would love to hear it because I don't have a lot of background on the Thoth deck because it's not the deck that I normally use. I will normally use a Ryder Waite Smith deck in my tarot readings, or a Ryder Waite Smith clone, which is based on the Ryder Waite Smith deck. So Jamie says we need to call the Thoth Tarot the Crowley Harris deck, or Harris Crowley. And that's an acknowledgement of Alistair Crowley and Lady Frida Harris. So Waite is to Crowley and Smith is to Harris in this analogy, where Alistair Crowley was the director of what he wanted on the cards, and Lady Frida Harris was the artist that was creating the art based on his direction. So, hold on. So, Unapologetically Witchy says, yes, and I'm so glad you do. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but you're welcome. Jamie says, Frida was the one who told him to make the deck. He was such an ass to her. Well, when we talk about Crowley, that's not a surprise. a lot of that's the general prevalent opinion about Alistair Crowley. So let me go to the books. I've got I got a stack of them right here. So it's going to be variations on the theme, but I am going to recommend, I believe it's a biography of Pamela Coleman Smith, and her nickname is Pixie for short. So when we say Pixie in the tarot community, we are referring to Pamela Coleman Smith. So I believe it's Pamela Coleman Smith, a biography. That's the name of it. And I will look up that information and drop that into the chat over on Facebook and YouTube. Yes. Jamie says books. Yes, of course, books. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Unapologetically Witchy says, I meant that I was glad you added Smith as an important part of the RW deck. Exactly. Like I will always say RWS now, or say it full Ryder Waite Smith. I will never say RW or Ryder Waite again without including her. Feel very strongly about that. So there's a Wikipedia on Pamela Coleman Smith. Pamela Coleman Smith, also nicknamed Pixie, was a British artist, illustrator, writer, publisher, and occultist. And she is best known for illustrating the Ryder Waite Smith deck. So who was Pamela Coleman Smith? Aha, there we go. Okay, I think I found it. So the name of the book, and I feel like there's an actual biography on her as well. But the book itself that I think I was just thinking of here is called Secrets of the Waite Smith Tarot. And there's a chapter on Pamela Coleman Smith in that book. Let me look here. So where's my linkies here? Okay. So Lisa says, I own the Thoth, but I haven't used it much. I used it maybe 15 years ago, but it's been largely dormant since then because I've been mostly drawn to other decks. Yeah, and a lot of the people that I know that have used Thoth have that almost same experience where they're just like, there are periods that it lays dormant, like it doesn't want to work with them at that point, but then it starts talking to them again after, like, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 6 years. You know, they're for some reason, and there's, I don't know why, I feel such an energetic difference between the two. I mean, and I have been able to read with both. And there was actually one of my clients that had a very strong connection to the Thoth Tarot because it was given to her as a gift by someone who ended up passing away. And so it's like their connection with that person. And I think they allowed me to handle it only because they felt compelled for me to give their reading with that deck. So thank you to that client. You know who you are if you happen to be watching. But other than that, like, I don't really use Thoth unless my client will ask me to read from it. So I can read using the Thoth, but it's just very energetically different to me. And it has, I don't know, it has just a sense of weird to it, in the sense of like WYRD, rather than this familiarity or this comfort that I feel with the Ryder Waite Smith deck. I don't know why, but that's just how I feel about the two. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's the book that I was thinking about, Jamie. Thank you so much. Stuart Kaplan and Mary Kay Greer did the fantastic Pamela Coleman Smith, The Untold Storybook. So let me go ahead and put that into the chat too. Here's one that I was just looking at, waitesmithtarot.com, Pamela Coleman Smith. So you guys can read that on your own time if you would like. And I am going to get that link, Pamela Coleman Smith. The Untold story. Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Yes, that was the cover that I was thinking of. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Okay. So Pamela Coleman Smith, The Untold Story, brings together the work of 4 distinguished scholars who have devoted years of research to uncover the life and artistic accomplishments of Pamela Coleman Smith. Known to millions as the creator of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, Pamela Coleman Smith was also a stage and costume designer, folklorist, poet, author, illustrator of ballads and folktales, suffragette, and publisher of books and broadsheets. This collaborative work presents a richly illustrated biography of Pamela's life with essays on the events and people that influenced her, including Jack Yeats, Ellen Terry, Alfred Stieglitz, Bram Stoker, and William Gillette. There's also a chronological survey of her folktales, art, poetry, and an exploration of her lasting legacy. 440 pages. So like you got to be a real nerd to pick that one up. And it was published in 2018 by US Game Systems. And I don't have this book myself, but it's well researched. And Lisa is saying, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure that's referring to the energetic difference between the Rider-Waite-Smith and the Thoth. Lisa says, I've been working with the Uncommon Tarot and to a lesser extent the Dali Tarot. The Dali is, as I find, hard to connect with. And here's the listing for on Goodreads for the Pamela Coleman Smith, The Untold Story. Okay. Wow. This is a lot of information. Hold on one second here. Let me process this a little bit while I drink some more seltzer. So, in the waitesmithtarot.com website, there's information about Pamela Coleman Smith, but there's factual research there, but a lot of stuff has like this kind of gray area where we don't know for sure some of the things that people assert. Like we don't know for sure that she is in fact mixed of a mixed race or heritage. We don't know for sure what her sexuality is because many people ascribed her as being a lesbian or bisexual or had strong relationships with women, but there's no actual proof of that. And there's the people that she hung out with, such as Ellen Terry, and Ellen Terry's daughter, Edie Craig, was well known in scandal at the time for her sexuality. We don't know if that's like a kind of, I don't want to say guilt by association. We don't know that that means that she herself was a lesbian or bisexual. So there's a lot of assertions, suggestions, conjecture, but there isn't anything really concrete about her life. So while I want to shout out that there's a lot of research here to be done about Pamela Coleman Smith still, here are the sources that I'm going to give you to do your own research if that is appealing to you. I just want to basically call it out here that like you can't talk about the tarot and you cannot let Women's History Month go by without talking about Pamela Coleman Smith and Lady Frida Harris. Period. So let's get a little bit more information about Pamela Coleman Smith. And I wanted to call out a little bit about the stage cards of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, because we do know that she was a great artist. She wasn't generally acknowledged of her art, about her art, and also she probably died penniless, without a lot of recognition or even fame or anything to her name, and without knowledge that her work would go on to influence millions of people. So this is coming from Tarot Diva by Sasha Graham. She was by trade a theatrical backdrop designer. So she painted, constructed, and created sets that appeared on London stages. Because of her theater background and knack for dramatic expression is probably why the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is a classic. Her pictures clearly express characters playing out a story. We viewers immediately see the drama unfolding before us in the cards. And so we want to talk a little bit about, because of Pamela Coleman Smith's background as a theatrical backdrop designer, there are stage cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. So I wanted to call that out a little bit. Jamie says, we don't even know where she is buried. So, like, guys, like, this is someone, like, I wouldn't be a tarot deck. I wouldn't be a tarot reader without this woman. And we know so little about her life. And like Jamie said, we don't even know where she's buried. So we're still trying to figure it out. Unapologetically Witchy says, I'll need to catch the replay. I need to drive home from work. Thank you for sharing this information. You're so welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And I know you're one of the 7 or maybe the 14 listeners of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast. So thank you for listening, and thank you for tuning in. And, watch when you can, right? So what's curious here, that there are stage cards, and it can add fabulous dimensions to your readings. We're not going to talk about this fully in this episode, but if we want to talk about stage cards in a separate episode, just let me know in the chat, and I'll make a note of it to maybe cover it during the month of April for one of our weekly episodes. So there are only 13 stage cards. Why not make them all stage cards? Why 13? How do we apply this notion of theatricism to our readings? So there's a direction here to see if you can pick out the stage cards for yourself before looking at the list below, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. So the stage cards are the 2 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, the 4 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the Page of Cups, the 2 of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Pentacles. So we'll never know the answer why there are only 13 and why she chose those 13 cards with this specific setup. Still, there are no accidents in the tarot deck. Everything has meaning. Everything has a specific meaning and a reference to hidden system of divination. So what we mean for the stage cards is that it looks like it's a stage. It looks like it's a performance. But this is the reason why knowing some of the background on Pamela Coleman Smith, the artist of this deck, is helpful to know why she did what she did or what the significance of this might be. The reason why there's stage cards here is because that was her work. She designed backdrops for the London stage. I don't know. I thought it was very interesting to point out. Okay, cool. All right. I'll make a note of that, Katie. Stage cards. Learning about stage cards for future workshops sounds fascinating. Yes, please. Awesome. I will make a note of that when I revisit the episode, when I'm doing all of the YouTube back stuff. So we've got to vote for that. Cool. And I'm just going to keep that bookmarked then, because there's an entire chapter on this. Let's also not forget that the Rider-Waite-Smith cards were born at a sliver of time where theater was the mass form of entertainment. So this is around 1910, I believe, was the original creation of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Not necessarily the one that was published and popularized by U.S. Games, the original version, 1910. There was no television, no internet, no video or films. Did Miss Smith somehow foresee entertainment would eventually be projected onto screens for the masses? Who knows? Want to see a little bit if we happen to have more information about Pamela Coleman Smith in Tarot Diva. S for Smith. There we go. 559. Yeah. Okay. Let's look on page 59, shall we? I've got to stack more books. So, but again, this is not to give you all the information because we know so little. It's just to spark further research for you. Oh, cool. Jamie says Scott Martin also wrote a book around the stage cards, I think. All right. Well, guys, look that up too if you're interested in stage cards. And I'll definitely do a future workshop on it. Lisa says, I agree. Fascinating. So, okay, we'll definitely do an episode on stage cards. 58. Ah, yes, from the chapter on Tarot's mysterious past. So we're fast forwarding out of the Renaissance because you have the Visconti Sforza Tarot, which was more created for art rather than for divination. So fast forward out of the Renaissance and find yourselves smack dab in the center of England circa 1900. These cheeky Victorians were obsessed with the occult. Table tipping, mediums, occultism, and crystal balls were all quite the order of the day. Jack the Ripper was setting all of London afright. Gothic fiction such as Dracula and Frankenstein were all the rage. Charles Dickens, the Stephen King of his time, was igniting imaginations across Europe with his bone-chilling tales. Simultaneously, in London and Paris, you have a potent mixture of artists igniting the art and literature world with the emergence of modernism. Picasso, Matisse, T.S. Eliot, D.H. Lawrence, Gertrude Stein, Virginia Woolf. Paintings, influencing, socializing, drinking together. Art and literature. The modernist movement produces the new deck of tarot cards that we're talking about, the Rider-Waite-Smith. On the outskirts of London, a group of eccentric upper-middle-class men and women gathered to form a secret magical society. This secret society was called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and it would become the most influential magical society of its kind. The Golden Dawn's influences are still alive and well today. Its members included the poet W.B. Yeats, Yeats, Florence Farr, a famed actress of the day, and the ever-controversial Alistair Crowley. And yes, this is Tarot Diva, sorry. So ever-controversial Alistair Crowley, known as the wickedest man in the world. Among its members were Christian mystics, magicians, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, I can never pronounce that word, and Kabbalists. Tarot played a role in the magical work the Golden Dawn undertook. In fact, each member was to create his or her own unique tarot deck. Golden Dawn member Pamela Coleman Smith took her painting instructions from member Arthur Edward Waite, A.E. Waite, to create what eventually became the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. In 1909, Waite published the deck with the Ryder Company, thus giving it its title. The Rider-Waite deck is viewed as the traditional tarot deck of today. It has been used in countless films and books and is the best-selling tarot deck of all time. There has been an explosion of new tarot decks in the last decade, and many are coined Rider-Waite clones because they follow the structure and imagery of the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So the key to unraveling the imagery of tarot is understanding where the symbols arose in the first place. So it's all a mix of many different mystical philosophies from members of the Golden Dawn. So our modern decks are chock full of themes that arose from Christianity, Kabbalah, Freemasonry, and magical practice. So not a lot about Pamela Coleman Smith herself in here, though. Next. Gee, I don't know whose book this is. Jamie, is this book familiar to you? I don't know. You may be familiar with the author. So this is from Tarot Inspired Life by Jamie Elford. So again, here, we don't have a lot of, it's all the same. It's all the same kind of information, but it's like different tinges, tweaks, a little more information in some places, a little less information in other places, because we're still trying to piece together who these women were. Yeah, Jamie says, that I may have seen that book somewhere. So moving forward to 1910, the year the first popular, mass-produced, and standardized tarot deck was released, A.E. Waite commissioned Pamela Coleman Smith to illustrate the deck. Waite sold the deck to the Ryder Company, which printed and sold the deck globally. People all over the world could now use the deck to tell fortunes and divine futures. And the companion book, Spiritual Keys to the Tarot, introduced the Celtic cross spread. So this is the reason why I have a little bit of beef with the Celtic cross spread that everyone says is so ancient, and it ain't that ancient, really. So moving away a little bit from Pamela Coleman Smith and talking a little bit about Lady Frida Harris. Again, I'm sorry to the Thoth users that I don't have as much information about Lady Frida Harris because I just don't use Thoth as much. 1944, Alistair Crowley created his own tarot called the Thoth deck. Heavily influenced by Egyptian lore, he fashioned the deck in homage to Thoth. His version became popular, and many decks today use Crowley's structure of the major arcana. We can trace most of the current and modern decks back to either the Rider-Waite-Smith or Crowley decks, though not all tarot decks have that same system. Yeah, and Jamie says, ancient is anything over 50 years, right? Pretty much, yeah. So if you lay out the major arcana of each system side by side, you will notice a few differences. The first comes out of the order of the cards. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, card 8 is named Strength and card 11 is Justice. While Crowley was a member of the Golden Dawn, he had creative differences and his own ideas for the deck's structure. And in fact, by most accounts, A.E. Waite and Crowley did not get along with each other. They fought like cats and dogs. So it was like two dudes waving their magical dicks around, basically. Sorry. This is what I've heard from the research. So while Crowley was a member of the Golden Dawn, he had creative differences and his own ideas for the deck structure. When it was time to release his own deck, Crowley switched Strength and Justice to suit his own view of the world. And he also based his deck more toward Egyptian lore. So most people don't really care which branch their tarot deck comes from, but sometimes having the knowledge of the history and where it came from can help understand your deck on a deeper level. Tarot Inspired Life by Jamie Elford. And this is actually kind of an episode about women in the tarot and the tarot community too. So notice how I haven't been shouting out a lot of men or male deck designers or male tarot readers, but trust me, they're out there, folks. They're out there. All right, from Tarot, no questions asked, Mastering the Art of Intuitive Reading from Teresa Reed. I did grab a little bit about from the before you toss that little white book section of this. There's more information, more about, like, so much of this is frustrating. And you're welcome, Jamie. Well, thank you for writing that book. So much of this history, it's just like, it acknowledges Pamela Coleman Smith, but we just don't know a lot about her for facts. So I do encourage you to do your research based on some of the links that I provided to you. And I need to plug in my computer. So here, another fun. So again, commissioned the artist Pamela Coleman Smith to create the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I do want to note here, like, a lot of the verbiage when we're talking about this is A.E. Waite commissioned Pamela Coleman Smith. I believe that Pamela Coleman Smith was actually a part of the Golden Dawn tradition, and had her own opinions and had her own magical practices, that it wasn't just this one magical guy commissioned this stage backdrop designer. I believe she was actually a part of the Golden Dawn. I could be wrong about that. It could have been like a closed group of, a men only group, but I don't think so. The brilliance of this deck lies in the illustrated minors, or pips, which make tarot as a divination tool way more accessible. Many modern tarot decks are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith's imagery. It's iconic, and it's also why Teresa recommends it as the best starter deck for beginners. Once you can read with the RWS, you can read almost any deck. And that is because when she mentions illustrated minors or pips, that shows a difference between a tarot deck that will only show, like, the Seven of Swords only shows 7 swords on a plain background. That doesn't tell you a story. It does get a little bit difficult to interpret the 7 of Swords when you are not familiar with the scene that goes with it that is on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the reason why we say illustrated minors or pips, rather than just pips. With an illustrated pip, you are getting a story. So you're getting 78 stories, rather than in the minor arcana having like 4 of wands, and it's just 4 wands. What the hell does that mean? If you use the Rider-Waite-Smith and you learn from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck first, you will then be able to translate that information and remember that image that's on the 4 of wands so that you can read almost any deck. So Jamie says he did pay her a small amount, and she was a part of the Golden Dawn, but I have no idea how far up the ranks she went. Good. Okay. I'm not crazy. He paid her a small amount for the art. Yeah, it's okay. I got what you were saying, Jamie. I know, autocorrect, right? So if you want to learn more about tarot's history, and consequently learn about a little bit more about Pixie's history and her involvement with it, there is A Wicked Pack of Cards by Ronald Decker, Terry DePaulis and Michael Dumet, The Encyclopedia of Tarot, Volume 1 and 2 by Stuart Kaplan, The Tarot History, Symbolism, and Divination by Robert Place, and Llewellyn's Complete Book of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot by Sasha Graham. And I think that one's a recent one too. So again, or you can just pick this up, Tarot No Questions Asked by Teresa Reed, and get some more of your information that way, and then spawn your research off from that. As I said, I've got a lot of books, a lot of books. And then here's another one. Another one by Sasha Graham, 365 tarot spreads. She also has 365 tarot spells. And I feel like there was a third one in that series, but I can't remember. So really quick about Lady Frida Harris. So on May 11th, you have Frida Harris's Painter's Palette spread. On this day, artist Frida Harris passed away on this day in 1962. Harris collaborated with Alistair Crowley, and she painted the Thoth tarot deck. Although Harris took notes from Crowley for the Thoth deck, he offered her full credit. He said it was Harris who kept the deck's momentum afloat. She insisted he consider each and every card as a masterpiece, able to stand on its own, independent from the rest of the deck. So I did want to give some credit and some shout outs to Lady Frida Harris and the Thoth deck, even though I don't have a lot of information about her. I'm not sure. well noted, not sure what I well noted, but thank you. So got a ton of books. We went through a ton of books, but I wanted to shout out basically our two main stars of the Women in the Tarot episode, which is Pamela Coleman Smith and Lady Frida Harris. Ryder Waite Smith, Thoth. So please do your own research. Let me know what you find out. I would love to hear it. Because it's really like not altogether well known about these people. Like, for example, here, so from the biographers who did Secrets of the Waite Smith Tarot, they fully acknowledge we've got a lot of new research. We'd like here to offer a few clarifications about Pamela Coleman Smith from our factual research with primary source evidence. We present 3 facts on the life, love, and death of Pamela. She was born of American parents in England and held at least a U.S. passport. At the time, systems were a lot less stringent than is now for travel documentation. We have a record of her U.S. passport, which was countersigned by Ellen Terry, the famous stage actress, with whom Pamela spent so much time in her bohemian days. This is of significant interest as it shows that Pamela was still in touch with Terry up to 10 years after she left that circle in her conversion to Catholicism, although she did not attend Ellen Terry's funeral. So despite assertions or suggestions that she was a woman of color or even outright Jamaican or that her mother was Jamaican, there's no actual evidence of this at this time. She was described by people who met her as the most primitive of Americans, exactly like a Japanese. Yeats said that, as a woman child, and in many other ways, so her looks were certainly exotic, as we can see in many photographs, including new ones of Pamela in their book. Like, this is fascinating stuff, guys, or at least fascinating to me. So, while Pamela never married, never had children, nor are there any records of significant relationships with men, there is no evidence at this time as to her sexuality, like I said at more of the beginning of this topic. She had a series of strong relationships with women and lived with a close friend in her later years. One of the women with whom she had a close relationship was Ellen Terry's daughter, Edie Craig, who was well known in scandal at the time for her sexuality. So despite assertions or suggestions at this time, there's no evidence of her sexuality other than a lack of notable record. We have an intimate photo of Edie Craig, or I think it's Edie, it's pronounced, and Pamela, published for the first time in Secrets of the Waite Smith Tarot, which certainly shows a close relationship. Pamela died of myocardial degeneration on the 18th of September, 1951, Ben Colin House in Bude, Cornwall, England. She was age 73 and listed as a spinster of independent means. One person was present at her death, E.T. Bates, who is said by Kaplan to be her cleaner. Her will left her estate to Nora Lake. So, was she recognized in her lifetime? Because there's a lot of assertions that she died unrecognized in poverty and obscurity. However, although at present we have few records of her later years, this only means that at present we have few records other than she did die in debt. In fact, Pamela would have been written to a decade before her death to be told she had been recognized by the prestigious RSA. Here's a quote from our book. Pamela was proposed as member of the Royal Society for the Encouragement of Arts, Manufactures and Commerce by committee and given that fellowship on October 13th, 1941, 10 years prior to her death. This was long after her departure from the Bohemian set, and during her quiet later years, she received this recognition, but she was still alive when it was given. And I believe Corinne Kenner provided an original bookplate of Pamela's on which the letters FRSA were clearly written after her name, meaning that Pamela was certainly aware of the recognition. She is listed in the RSA as an artist, illustrator, and teller of Jamaican folk stories. So check out that book for more information. All right, a little bit about women in the tarot itself. You can find women or female presenting figures in the tarot in the following cards, and this is off the top of my head. I'll try and be quick about it. So the Queen of Cups, for example, all of the queens of the tarot, and to some degree the pages of the tarot can be recognized as female presenting or of a feminine energy. And pages are often switched over to being the princesses in other tarot deck depictions. So there's that. There's the Strength card. There's a woman in the Strength card. And hopefully my voice isn't going permanently. So all the queens, all the pages. Three of Cups is a very female girl power kind of card. I know we have a feminine figure in the World card as well. The Empress card. I'm just flipping through. I'm seeing some of the queens, which I'm skipping over because I already said it. And now all I'm seeing is queens. There's the Empress card. And I liken the Empress card almost to being the compilation of all of the facets of the different queens of the court cards come together. Yes, High Priestess. Thank you. The most obvious female, the High Priestess. At least it should be for me with my High Priestess tarot card tattoo. Temperance, I wouldn't say is necessarily female presenting. It's almost more of a androgynous kind of figure in the Temperance card. Yes, exactly. The queens cannot be ignored, and they are not being ignored right now. They are popping up to be like, hey, I heard you talking about us. There's a little girl and a little boy on the Six of Cups. The Nine of Pentacles as well. The Two of Cups, we do have male and female presenting. But again, if that is not your affiliation or your understanding of the Two of Cups, ignore it. The tarot works best when it works for you, when you have that personal connection. I've literally gone through all of the queens. The Star card. And here we go. I'm not going to continue along this vein because I want to point out probably the biggest ones. And let's just end with the High Priestess, because she's a little miffed right now that I completely glossed over her. She will not be ignored. And again, we have more spammers in the Facebook chat, so please go ahead and ignore or report. Thank you. And I think that wraps up this episode, or this topic of women in the tarot, to finish off the month of March. So thank you all so much for watching, and let's move on to the weekend forecast, unless, of course, people have questions. And if you have specific questions, yeah, I know. I know, exactly. That's what I was saying before. You literally have her tattooed. I know. That's why I was just like, let's end with her. Otherwise, she's going to get mad at me. Any questions that I can help to answer or point you in the right direction on women in the tarot? And again, please ignore the spammers. Before we move right into the weekend forecast, Jamie says, this was great, Hilary. Thank you. You're very welcome. And also big shout outs to all of the tarot deck creators, designers, book authors. It's a very female dominated profession. But I do want to shout out some of the few males that are in this profession as well. Just not necessarily on this particular episode, but I can totally do another episode for the men. We love you, and we love our male tarot readers. Gotta love our male tarot readers. All right, let me wet my whistle before we move on to the weekend forecast. And I am feeling moved to pull from the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland, with artwork by Nyx Rowan, in honor of the full moon in Libra this weekend on Sunday. And now I'm out of seltzer. Or at least seltzer to hand, so I gotta wrap up, right? Otherwise, I am going to be a croaky frog. So, let us go to the weekend forecast. Then I have to finish off my workday by finishing off my email reading. So, what I would like to do when I work with the Moonology, and give me 1 second here because this person is absolutely relentless, and I'm gonna go ahead and ban them from the stream. Hold, please. Let's see if I can talk and think at the same time. What I like to do when I work with the Moonology Oracle in particular is I like to, just startled myself with my own voice there, is I like to find in the companion book for the guidebook for Moonology Oracle cards, find what is going on astrologically already. So as I said before at the top of the episode, it is a full moon in Libra this weekend. So I like to go there first and see what the information is for the full moon in Libra, what is actually going on astrologically. And then I usually will go and shuffle up and pull the card, because sometimes we get a matchup to the actual astrology and the astrology that we see in the card that I pull, and sometimes we don't. So if we don't, it's kind of like, remember that the full moon is actually in Libra, but also take that and use this. It's almost like a dual type of reading here, where we're pulling 2 cards instead of one for the actual and one for the shuffled. So does that make sense to everyone? If it makes sense to everyone, go ahead and put that in the chat. Okay, I will leave that up so I can go through the banning. Okay, Jamie had to run, gotta run. Talk to you later, and thank you so much for watching, Jamie, and chiming in, and thank you for your wonderful book, Tarot Inspired Life, and always being my co-host for the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast. I love it when you guys tune in. It's so much fun, and I'm like, I feel like, uh-oh, my sisters are here. Oh, my mom's here. I got to behave myself, but also kind of not. So before I shuffle, like I said I was going to, let me look up the full moon in Libra, right, guys? Full moon in Libra. So win-win outcome is the forecast. The full moon in Libra is the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship, not a romantic relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with somebody else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. So attune to the moon, let go of that which is falling away. See the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. No matter when you pull the full moon in Libra card, it encourages you to find a balance between your desires and those of the people around you. Balance is a very Libran energy, and the full moon brings things to a peak. Dramas and upsets bring partnerships to the forefront. Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. So that is the astrological energy that we have going on Sunday with the full moon in Libra. Now let's go ahead and shuffle up the cards, and I'm going to pull another card, and we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh if we happen to get the full moon in Libra. I mean, it's a 1 in 56. How many cards are in this? What? 1 in 44 chance of getting that. So let's see. What do we most need to know for this weekend? What do we most need to know for this weekend? You guys are not going to believe it. It's not the full moon in Libra. I did not get the full moon in Libra, but I did get the new moon in Libra. Can't make this stuff up, folks. You cannot make this stuff up. So let us take a look at the companion book for the new moon in Libra. But it's basically, it almost seems like with the full moon in Libra and then coming up, the card coming up for the new moon in Libra, that it's just like, as things complete, new things can begin. As new things begin, other things complete. So it is this cyclical kind of feeling that we've got going on this weekend. It doesn't necessarily have to be a contradiction or one negates the other. Right? Right? Dina says, cool. Lisa says, LOL, love it. I mean, you know by this time that I don't fuck around with the cards. They usually do have some bearing here, and I can't rig it. I'm not that good of a magician with sleight of hand. The shuffle is the shuffle. So new moon in Libra. New moon in Libra. 54. Okay. So keeping all that I just said in mind about the full moon in Libra, both from the Moonology deck and also from Teresa from her AstroBiz Digest at the top of the episode, a new romantic cycle begins. Didn't we have that? Isn't it? So a new romantic cycle begins and a win-win outcome is forecast, right? So new moon in Libra, give and take could well be the answer to whatever dilemma you're asking about. Compromise may be called for. It's time to start negotiating or even renegotiating. When the new moon in Libra comes up, there's a restart for you and for someone else. A new relationship could be the beginning, and that's the case. And if that's the case, the chances are this will be a healthy and well-balanced connection. So in anything you do after pulling this card, doing it in pairs is advised, such as teaming up with someone in business or in your personal life. Libra is the sign of relating, and this card suggests that whoever is at the heart of the issue you're addressing is someone who will be open to talking things through. Avoid being selfish. It won't get you anywhere at this time. So reach out to someone and let them know you care. So this could be just getting an intuitive hit here that's not in the book. It could be that it's the same person that you're resolving stuff with. So it's not necessarily that their relationship is ending, but it could be that that portion of the relationship is ending, or like you and that person have to change your relationship entirely so that it's almost like that new moon in Libra energy, that it's a completely different story, a completely different ball game that you're experiencing. So feel more, think less. Marriage or engagement is in the cards. A legal matter will go your way. Pay some attention to your appearance, but don't be all about appearances. So it's like, it's a different way of saying, like, look after yourself, but avoid vanity. So it is that kind of like two sides to the same coin kind of energy you've got going on. So Libra is the sign of love and harmony, negotiation and relationships. It's harmonious, kind, and luxurious, and always aiming for balance. There's a restart possible for anything and everything connected to partnerships, negotiations, appearances, and justice. Remember that Libra is depicted by a set of scales. This energy wants to bring things back to equilibrium. So if you're feeling out of sorts, if you're feeling like you need a restart, if you're feeling like it's a great time to clean or balance or get that mani-pedi or give yourself a face mask at home, like do it. Do it. Whatever brings you back into balance. And I believe that the Temperance card in the tarot is associated with Libra energy as well, all about balance, as well as the Justice card, because again, you've got that scales going on there. So that's a pretty big weekend forecast we've got going on here with the new moon, with a full moon in Libra actually going on astrologically on Sunday and pulling the new moon in Libra card. So kind of funny, guys. Figures, right? All right, I think that does it for tonight's episode of Tarot by Hilary Live, specifically about women in the tarot. I thank you all so much for joining me. We are winding down now. I just want to give you a reminder that we do this every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on different metaphysical topics, whether it's tarot, or witchcraft, or spell casting, divination, palmistry. I haven't done a palmistry episode yet, but I don't know a lot about palmistry. So different topics. So I did get a suggestion for the stage cards of the tarot. So we'll probably do that maybe not next episode. We're going to be doing our planning episode next episode for April, but maybe the episode after that. I've definitely got your suggestions in mind. So thank you all so much for watching. Katie says, thank you, Hilary. Have a good weekend, everybody. Dina says, thank you, Hilary. Everyone on Instagram said thank you. So yeah, once again, where to find me if you want to book a tarot reading. I am doing tarot readings over phone, Skype, and email. No in-person sessions at this time. Maybe not ever again, because I'm really liking the whole virtual sessions. That means I can read for anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place in the world. It's pretty awesome. But if you would like to book a tarot session, you can do so at tarotbyhilary.com. Remember, that is Hilary with one L. Otherwise, you find someone different. That's not me. And again, I do want to remind you that I am Hilary, professional tarot card reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friend, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'll see you all again next time, Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.